adjusting back to my agenda. Okay, do you want to begin with the tribal acknowledgement?
Somebody.
I don't have it with me.
Olivia, you're muted.
Classic. Good morning. Okay. Let us acknowledge we reside on the ancestral lands and waters of the Coast Salish people who have called this place home since time immemorial. And Aboriginal and treaty rights that have been passed down from generation to generation.
Thank you, Olivia. Dave, do you want to do your pledge?
Be honored. Thank you. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, roll call. We have Olivia, myself, Patty Garcia, Paul Dossett, Liz Lafferty, Maureen C., Tom Starr, David Dellendorf, Bill Apple. Welcome back, David. Tony, Janet, Kyle, Dave Anderson, Richard Grout, Jane Fuller, and Anne-Marie Shanks. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. Okay. Let's go into approval of the November 22nd meeting minutes. And who, Janet, you just asked a great question. Is anybody taking minutes today? Normally Karen Abreu does. Can somebody take minutes?
I would, but I can't. I'm on the ferry in my vehicle, so.
Okay. Janet, you asked the question. Do you want to take some?
Sharon's hopping on right now.
Oh, see, I knew if I just waited a little longer, I could will it to happen.
It's like Sharon's in a car. You might be willing it to yourself.
Okay, they're not going to probably be the greatest notes, but
that's okay, as long as we have something.
Okay, hold on. I
can add to it.
I gotta get paper. Hold on.
And actually, no offense, but I hope we don't have another meeting. And so I don't know when we're going to approve these minutes anyway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Okay. I got on my phone because for some reason I can't get onto my laptop, but I am here.
Okay, great. Okay, so approval of the November 22nd meeting minutes. Does anybody have any edits or issues or changes that they'd like to suggest? If not, I would love a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Okay, so Liz and Maureen seconded. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the November 22nd meeting minutes?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Bob, is that an abstention for you?
No, I actually listened to the entire meeting, so I feel competent to vote aye.
Okay. So the motion passes, the meeting minutes are adopted. Okay. The first item of business on our agenda is the action on the proposed ballot measure initiative for referendum and for initiative and referendum. And this is the one that was proposed by a handful of you to bring it back in a basic form, which, as we heard, was originally proposed to be a separate issue from the subcommittee. So would somebody like to speak to this or put a motion on the table?
I move we accept this as an official proposal for the ballot to 2022 ballot.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Bob and a second by Paul. Any further discussion on this? If just for the record, if folks didn't see our last meeting, if somebody could just briefly state what it is.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, please. Dan.
In the this is a proposal that we lower the number of signatures that are required for the initiatives and getting initiative or referendum on the ballot. It is currently at 15% in the county charter, and this is lowering it to the state standard of 8%, which we think will be more fair. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Any further discussion? Bob.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman, it may be significant to the public to realize that the initiative, the same proposal was on the last ballot and it lost, but we have removed what we have considered to be the principal part that the public objected to, we believe, which was the financial requirements. Also removed is the part about identification of people who are collecting ballot signatures. What we've left on there is what we consider the remaining important part, which is the lowering to the standard 8%.
Okay, wonderful. Paul?
Just for clarification, Dave, you might want to help me out here. That's under initiative 6.21, and under 6.22, number 3 is what we're changing only.
Yes.
Okay, and that just speaks to the percentages.
Um,
And also the referendum.
And also the referendum. Thank you.
6.41, yeah, as well.
All right, thank you, Dave.
Thank you all for that discussion. Any further discussion?
Call the question.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tony Gazelle is opposed? You were an abstention. I wasn't there.
Sorry, my bad. Too early.
Okay, any abstains? Any abstentions? Tony's abstaining and Dick Grout is abstaining. Okay.
No.
Dick
Opposed.
I'm
Dick is
voted
opposed.
no.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so we have Dick Grout voting opposed, Tony Gazelle voting in abstention. Chair votes aye, motion passes. Okay. Let's move on to action on justice and equity recommendation. Jane?
Yes, so this recommendation is being put forward in place of a recommendation that was drafted relating to proposition number 6, which was not approved by the voters. That proposition related to the creation of a Justice, Equity, and Inclusion Commission. We had a recommendation related to that proposition if it was going to have been successfully approved, and that recommendation really was laying out how that commission would be established, etc. That recommendation obviously became null and void because the proposition was not approved. Therefore, it was felt appropriate to come up with another recommendation related to the successful proposition concerning justice and equity on non-discrimination. So the voters approved the proposition number 5, creating a non-discrimination section in the charter. The recommendation number 9 that is before us today is a recommendation that outlines 4 basic steps, issues, actions that are being proposed to the county council to undertake as part of upholding this non-discrimination section of the charter. So that is essentially the essence of recommendation number 9.
Great. Okay. Any discussion on this? Okay, Jane, did you put forward a motion?
I can do. So I would like to propose, or I would like to put to the Charter Review Commission that we accept and adopt recommendation number 9 to be submitted to the County Council.
Okay, now formally under discussion. Any discussion?
Oh, the second.
Yes, there's a second.
Sorry. Bob is second. Jane put forward the motion. Bob is the second. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, hang on. I'm going to write you down here. Got Olivia, Patty, Maureen, Liz, David, Kyle, Janet, Jane, Dave, Dick, Sharon, Anne Marie. How do you vote?
Yes.
Anne Marie and Kevin. Okay, all those opposed and abstentions. Paul, Bill, Tony, Tom. Okay, motion passes. Chair votes aye. Janet, did you get all those names?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, let's go to action to consider rescinding previous motion and recommendations on elections observation.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment, please, before the motion is made.
Okay, well, okay, I was going to allow some dialogue on this. Are you on the previous one or this one?
No, I'm on the one coming up.
Okay,
I'd like to.
Look,
please.
excuse me for interrupting. I want to raise a point of order.
No, hold on, David.
This discussion is meaningless.
He's doing a point of order. He's allowed to do his point of order.
But I thought I asked.
Point of order
is a superior motion, so he can make his point of order if it's actually a point of order. David?
Okay, my point of order is, and I'm not sure that's the correct term, but this resolution is invalid, was improperly worded.
David, that is a discussion point and not a point of order. So I'm going to go back to Tony.
It should not have been voted on as a point of order. It should never have been presented and voted on. I think that's a point of order. But I'll back off. I'll wait. Thank you.
Wait. So Tony, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I suggest that this particular item should be removed for two reasons. One reason is that the proposer of this item made a motion in an email that was sent to the quorum of the CRC, which is forbidden. And number two, the agenda for the November 22nd meeting did not say that we are revisiting old items. The agenda specifically says we are looking at new items. So since this was an old item and it was voted on almost unanimously by the commission, and it was brought forth under a pretense that it was what I just said about the email and so on, I think this item should be removed from this agenda today.
Okay, Tony, for my benefit, can you please state your first argument one more time?
The first one is the promoter of this proposal,
okay.
Commissioner Kraut, made a motion in an email string which was forbidden under the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah.
And number two, the agenda is for the November 22nd, when this was brought forward, did not talk about bringing forward old items. It only talked about bringing additional propositions and recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Tony. So on your first point, if there had been a majority of members of the commission who responded, it was slightly inappropriate to send that email to the full commission. However, there was not a response from the full commission, and it was also not a motion. It was a statement of that commissioner's opinion that he wanted to bring this issue forward. And we are allowed to send an email to the full commission stating a fact. What we can't have is a back and forth dialogue. And there was not, to my recollection, not only not a majority, but I don't think many responses at all to Commissioner Grout's email.
Mr. Chair.
So hang on, let me finish my 2 points. Dick, I see your hand. Patty, I thought I saw your hand. I'll get to you guys. Okay, David, yes, hang on. So on your first point, the email does not, and even if that was an issue, getting to your second point, the 22nd agenda, we all acknowledged, should have been more specific if there was going to be a motion to reconsider or to rescind. And keep in mind that under our own rules, a motion to rescind is a new action. And so regardless of the last agenda that we will consider new actions, that was a new action. What we did acknowledge, however, is under a special meeting, we should be more specific with the agenda, which is why we did a bunch of homework and we rescheduled this entire meeting this morning at 7:30 and properly advertised it. And if you'll see, it says action to consider rescinding previous motion and recommendations on elections observation. That is a legal notice of a possible rescinding of an action by the commission. So I think we are in order to hear this at this point in time. But
Mr. Chair, a rebuttal, please, since you're addressing me specifically.
Yeah, go ahead.
I totally disagree. For the reason is this, the email basically said, at our Monday meeting, I'm going to propose that we delete in its entirety the recommendation to the council regarding election observers. That to me is a motion to the whole body. Number two, let me finish, please.
Yeah.
Number two, in that email, no, this is completely forbidden because email to the majority of the commission should only include material that is pertaining to a meeting, an agenda modification, time to meet, and so on. Anything that has to give somebody's opinion in a meeting to the quorum of the commission is forbidden. We can spin this all the way around if you would like, but that's the bottom line. Number two, if we had known that there were going to be discussions on previous items, we would have brought some items that we disagreed with, but we did not because we respected the action of the commission, and we said, okay, since those are recommendations going to be recommended, we respect their action, we will let it go. But we did not hear that we were going to be revisiting old items. So I stand to my original 2 points, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. David?
I believe that this discussion and any possible motions to amend this particular recommendation are all meaningless and invalid because the resolution is flawed. It should never have been voted on as is. And the reason it's flawed, and I sent an email around to everybody on Saturday. I hope it got to everybody, but and it's very briefly, the existing county charter specifies the duties of the Charter Review Commission. And the duties of it are, and I'll read section 9.11, the CRC shall review the charter to determine its adequacy and suitability to the needs of the county and may propose amendments, which we all know we've done. That's the main focus of our CRC. The second and last sentence of 9.1 says, the CRC may also make recommendations to the county council and publish its findings. So it specifically says you can make recommendations to the county council. It's by omission, it does not say you can make recommendations to the county auditor or any other county official or entity. So the recommendation was flawed. It should have been changed and not voted on, and I think it's an invalid recommendation, which if it goes to the county council or to the auditor cannot be directed to do this because of the flaw that it's not consistent with our duties.
Thank you very much, David. Dick?
Oh, you made one point. I wanted to make sure it's clearly understood. I did not make a motion in an email. And if memory serves, there was no response to that email. So there was no dialogue about it.
Okay, thank you. Patty, did you have your hand up earlier?
No, I didn't. I was just agreeing.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Patty. David, before I go back to you, does anybody else have any comments on this discussion? David Dellendorf, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to make arrive at a determination whether or not the CRC agrees with my interpretation of the charter and how the recommendation is worded. Because I think if we agree with me, then we're going to just have no reason to have any further discussion of this issue. So we can save a lot of time if we can make a determination. And I can make a motion if that's the appropriate means of doing that, or whatever you think is the right way to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tony, before I call on you, just a question for everybody. I believe we jumped in with Tony's discussion on this and then David before we went to a motion. So we do not have a motion on the table. Is that correct? Thank you. Maybe I should start drinking coffee again. Okay, so I saw Tony's hand and then Bob's. And David, I heard your point. I think right now we're under discussion of possible rescension or rescinding of the previous motion. And so let us finish this. David, if we can finish this discussion and then we can go back to your point.
It's your Tony.
Yeah, Tony, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't want to respond to David's point other than to say that reading is somewhat misunderstanding what the charter is saying. To me, the charter is saying that you can propose things to the council. The council can forward things to the other departments. So the elections subcommittee is proposing this to the council, not to the elections department.
That's not correct.
And the other point I'm going to talk about is Mr. Chair, you said that the new action is the rescinding of an action, but that's really not necessarily a new action. That's really revisiting an action that's already been agreed upon. So rescinding of an old action is not necessarily a new action. That's kind of taking away the spirit of the action that was done already. So that's kind of a stretch in my view. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Regardless of that dialogue back and forth between us on that matter, Tony, today's agenda item of rescinding a previous motion and recommendation on elections observation was legally and appropriately advertised and is appropriate within Robert's Rules of Order and small group order that we are working under. So
I'm not talking about today's action, Mr. Chair. I'm talking about the 22nd amendment, the 22nd agenda.
Okay, thank you. And okay, who was Bob was next?
I would just say I am in favor of Dick's motion if it is necessary. I also believe that David has caught on to something here, and that it does clearly state that all recommendations are to the county council. But then I also believe that you can make a recommendation to the county council that they can pass on to other departments. I don't see why they could not do that, but the recommendation must be to the county council, and we must not send the recommendation to anyone else. The county council can look at it and decide, yes, we would like the departments to take a look at this idea.
Okay. Patty, did I see your hand earlier? Okay, Dick, did you want to do your motion at this point in time?
David's, oh well.
I saw Dick's hand earlier, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, if Patty wants to say something, let her go.
I was just saying, David
No,
has his
no.
hand up.
Okay, David.
Yeah, two things. Tony is incorrect. At least on our website, the motion, the recommendation as worded says the recommendation is to the county auditor. It is not to the county council as Tony stated. The second thing is I don't see how you can vote on a motion to amend a recommendation which is invalid. So I think the first determination has to be whether or not I am correct that the recommendation is invalid, because how can you vote on something that's invalid? So I would like to see a decision on whether or not the charter permits a recommendation to the county or auditor or not, because otherwise the subsequent motion by Dick is meaningless, because there is no recommendation, if I am correct.
Thank you for that. Just to clarify, this body can vote to rescind a previous action or motion that we have taken, regardless of whether or not it goes to the county council or the county auditor and is found to be invalid at that point in time. I think your point is well made. And if you read the wording of the actual motion, it does say auditor. I think you're raising a good point. And I read, after you called me, I read the charter, reread the charter, the current charter. I see your hand, Bill, I'll get to you, and Bob. And so I went back and looked at it. And I think you're raising a good point. However, the discussion item right now is to rescind the previous motion, which would still be a lawful action of this body. And if somebody wants to put a motion on the table to do that, we can move on and just see if maybe the second point is a moot point or not. And if it's not, then we can revisit that discussion. Bill.
I'd just like to say that all our communications with the auditor, including the propositions themselves, are through the county council. I don't see the delivery to the auditor or the statement to the auditor as being anything other than that. The propositions are statements to the auditor.
Thank you, Bill. Bob, and then Paul.
Motion to rescind.
So you're moving that we rescind the previous action.
I am.
On recommendations and recommendation on elections and observation.
I am.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, Patty seconded. Okay, so now we're under discussion for that motion. Paul, I saw your hand earlier, so if
well, I was didn't know Bob was going to make a motion there, so I was going to make a motion to close discussion so we can vote.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion on this item? Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm discussing now the motion of rescinding this item that was, I was the chair and the lead of the elections subcommittee, and we worked to make that wording as best as we can. There was a bar that was asked for us last meeting that did we invite people from the commission, from the elections department to ask those kind of questions, and the answer to that was the answer to that then was no, we did not, but we've used personal experience. But the point I'm going to make now is that we were held to a different level of scrutiny as a subcommittee because we did not do X, Y, or Z, but I don't recall any other recommendation, at least most of the recommendations. I think Commissioner Fuller's recommendations came through with a lot of material, and that was appreciated, and I think Commissioner Fuller did a lot of work, and I appreciate that. But 2 or 3 other recommendations were not held to that level of scrutiny, that we did not invite other members of the county government to come and speak to these items. So I think that argument should not be considered. I'm opposing this motion, but I will not vote because I will abstain, mostly because I don't think we have legal action to do anything really. But I would encourage you all to not agree with rescinding that particular recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. Others care to speak on the motion? Okay. Seeing no further discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Okay, I'm going to write these down. I've got Maureen, David, Kyle, Bill, Dick, Bob. Did I miss anybody? I've got Maureen, David, Kyle, Bill, Dick, Bob, Patty,
Anne Marie,
Liz, Sharon.
Anne Marie,
Sharon,
Liz and Sharon had their hands up.
Sharon,
Liz,
Liz. Jane, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Okay, so I'll get to that in a minute. Okay.
Me,
Okay.
Janet.
And Janet is a yes?
Yep.
Okay, I heard Jenny. Maureen, David, Kyle, Bill, Dick, Bob, Patty, Anne Marie, Sharon, Liz, and Janet as voting aye. Have I missed anybody?
Did Dave vote?
We'll get, not yet.
Okay,
So,
okay, sorry.
Okay. All those opposed? Paul, Dave, Tom. Others opposed? Okay. All those abstaining? Olivia, Tony, and
Jane.
Jane. Okay, motion carries, chair votes aye. Okay, so the previous motion to and recommendation on elections observation has been rescinded. Okay, so the final action we have is the resolution that we've put together. And Olivia, are you able to share that?
You cut out right when you said that. What are you needing?
I said, are you able to share the resolution?
Yeah.
So sorry, we had different versions of this depending on how votes today went. So we will share it on the screen now. But because of that, and also because we don't have signatures, the motion that we will be putting forward today for the resolution that summarizes and then actually concludes our work will be that, actually, Olivia, can you read the motion that, or you're looking at this screen? Basically, the motion that we would adopt today, instead of, it would basically say that this resolution is passed by motion today and will be considered adopted when a majority of the commissioners have signed the resolution. So that.
Excuse me, Kevin.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are we supposed to do public comment before we do this or after we do this?
Public comment will commence after agenda items are completed.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get to that as the last point. Okay, so this resolution was shared almost exactly as it is earlier with folks, but as I said, we had different versions depending on what passed today and what didn't. So this would be the version, and what this does is it summarizes. Olivia, if you can go up to the top. So first, it summarizes the 6 ballot measures that were put forward on the previous ballot. And remember that this is summarizing our work. So this is not, oh, I'm sorry. First, it does the 4 that we're putting forward now. And so first it says for the 2022 ballot, we will be putting forward these 4 propositions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 being
No, it's actually the first 6 from
It is the first 6.
2021
Okay, I was right the
November.
first time. Sorry. So the
Yeah,
first
no, you're
one,
right.
the first one, it summarizes the 6 that we put forward on the last ballot. And then it goes forward to 2022 and it says, here's the 4 that we're putting forward for the 2022 ballot. And then, and those are the public advocate and the initiative and referendum that we just did. Can you scroll up, Olivia? Sorry, just a tiny bit right there. The budget and chart and CRC process proposition that we've been discussing for quite some time, and ranked choice voting. Those are the 4 that would be on the 2022 ballot. And so that this just summarizes that. And again, this is not taking positions on these, it summarizes our work. And then it goes into the 9, I think it is now, recommendations, 8 recommendations that we will be putting forward to the county council, which would be in order even with David Dellendorf's, Commissioner Dellendorf's issue that he raised on the previous discussion. So that is the resolution. And again, the motion today would be to adopt the resolution by motion and consider it passed when a majority of the commissioners have signed the resolution. In the past, commissioners have made notes next to their name if they have an issue with one or another item. I believe, Maureen, correct me if I'm wrong. However, this is a factual summarization of our work. So that's what this resolution does. And then it will conclude our work once a majority of us have signed the document. So is that clear to folks? We can stop screen share if we want.
Actually, just for the minutes, what are we made? Just reiterate the last bit you just said.
Olivia, do you have the motion we did? Oh, I think I sent it to you from my iPad. Hang on. Okay. The wording of the motion would be that the resolution summarizing and concluding our work will be considered passed when a majority of the CRC members have signed the resolution.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
move.
Okay, who said so move?
I did.
Okay, so we now have a motion on the table. Hang on a second.
Second.
Second, yeah.
Sorry, I just want to get back to my note page. I'm sorry, who seconded? Was that Bill?
Yeah.
Okay, so Maureen moved and Bill seconded the motion. Okay, now we're under discussion. Paul, I saw your hand first and then
Well,
Bob.
do we have a majority of the signatures? We haven't said anything about that.
No, so we do not right now. The reason the motion is worded as it is would be that the resolution will be considered passed when a majority of commissioners have signed the document. And so over the next days, we will circulate the actual document so that we can get physical signatures on the document. And while we can do digital signatures, and some people could still do that. If you want to send a digital signature, you can do that, or we can set it up for docu-signing or something. But the formality of having the actual signatures, since this will be put in the archives with the county, is something that we consider would be a good thing to do. Paul, you had a follow-up?
Well, yeah, I do. So what are you going to do today with the council? Are you going to make presentation that this is passed when we don't have the majority of the resolution, excuse me, the signatures?
No, the presentation to the county council today is putting forward our 2022 ballot measures and our recommendations and telling them that a resolution concluding our work is coming.
Coming, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bob, you were next and then David.
Yes, I believe because David Dellendorf was correct in his observation regarding 9.11 and who we can make recommendations to, that there is a short paragraph in the middle of this thing that ought to be changed. It says now recommendations to the council, and then it names other bodies, and it ought to be recommendations to the council who may wish to pass on these ideas to these other bodies. It needs to be changed to that because it's up to the council what they do with it, and we can only make the recommendation to the council.
So if you would like to put that forward as a friendly amendment to the motion.
I do so suggest that.
Do Maureen and Bill accept that friendly amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
And sorry, Bob, can you just restate it? Recommendation made to county council so that they can pass on.
A recommendation made to the county council, which may in turn decide to suggest to
that may in turn deliver those recommendations to other elected officials or department heads.
All right.
That's your motion. Is that your motion, Bob?
Yes, we are only giving the recommendation to them, and they can do what they want with it, including sharing it with the people named in the recommendation itself.
Is
this an amendment to the resolution? I'm just
Yes.
I'm editing as we go.
Yeah.
Once this is approved. So
yeah, so this will be an edit to the resolution if this motion carries to pass the resolution now with the friendly amendment that's been accepted by both Bill and Maureen. Okay. Any further discussion? David.
Yeah, it's been brought to my attention, and I would like maybe some people to confirm whether it's true or not, that if there is a lawsuit brought by any party against the CRC because of an objection to any particular recommendation or amendment, that as members of the CRC, if we are still in existence when that lawsuit was filed, that the county would be obligated to defend us, as members of an official body, we are going to be represented in a case like that by the county. Whereas when we are out of business, when our business is finalized, either because we declare it's final before December 31 or because it's automatically we're out of business as of December 31 or January 1, that we are on our own in defending ourselves against any lawsuit. If that's the case, although there's only 30 days left, I'm concerned that we use the word final in this document. I would suggest we consider taking that out and only saying that we're submitting our recommendations and amendments, and that on December 31, we just let ourselves go out of business without making a declaration of final. Just so if what I understood is correct, we are not at risk individually between now and December 31.
I'm going to let our two attorneys who both have their hands up speak to this. So Bill?
As members, we're not liable anyway. It's not a personal liability issue. The party involved would be the county. And when we complete our work, if we have the word final in there, we vanish. All our work becomes county work, not our individual work. This is not the kind of body that has individual liability for what it may think it has done. The test is in the court, and the test is on the act, not on the people.
Bob.
And Bill indeed is correct. Good luck in, if we go out of business on Friday, good luck in filing a lawsuit against an organization not in existence, okay? Which we will not be after Friday. The county, however, as Bill points out, will still be around and could be sued. But that's not us.
I actually think this is a moot point anyway. I don't think any of our actions, there may be challenges to some of our actions, but that would not be a suit towards the CRC or individual members of the CRC. That's a very different item. But David, I'll call on you again if I don't see any other hands, but we do need to wrap up the meeting too, because Olivia and I need to get on a boat and be in Friday Harbor in 30 minutes.
Let's do that.
David, before I go to you, does anybody else care to speak to the motion of this resolution being considered passed once a majority of the commissioners have voted upon it or have signed it? Okay, David, final word.
I will vote in favor of the resolution as is, but I think it's wishful thinking of Bob and Bill to think that in today's political environment, with what is going on in state legislatures and courts and everywhere in the country with efforts to neutralize the will of the people, that nobody will file a lawsuit and try to drag us as individuals into it. We would be dragged in. Whether it's legal or not to do so is another matter. Thank you.
That's true.
I'm sorry, that's the very final word of all of our. What I would like to say is it has truly been an honor to work with each of you on all of this tasks we put forward. So just to be clear, the motion on the table is the resolution that, and the motion reads, hang on a second. The resolution summarizing and concluding our work will be considered passed when a majority of the CRC members, Charter Review Commission, San Juan County Charter Review Commission members have signed the resolution. And there was a friendly amendment, which I don't even remember exactly what it said, but it was approved by both the original maker of the motion and the second. So that is the motion that we have on the table. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, we're gonna have a split here. Hang on a sec. Okay, I have Olivia, Patty, Maureen, David, Kyle, Janet, Bill, Dick Grout, Bob O'Connell, Sharon, Liz, Dave Anderson, Jane Fuller, Anne Marie Shanks. How do you vote?
Yes.
Anne Marie. Okay. Janet, did you get all those names? Okay. Any abstentions? I mean, I'm sorry, any opposed? Paul is opposed. Any others? Okay, abstaining. Tony Gazelle and Tom Starr. Okay, chair votes aye, motion carries. Okay, folks. Liz and then Tony.
Kevin, I have a process question in terms of the signatures.
Mhm.
So if Jane is turning in the Lopez signatures today, does that mean then I will go to Friday Harbor to sign? Or should she bring it back? I'll sign it and I'll get it over. Our vacations are not meshing.
Yeah, no worries. So the previous signatures that were distributed were based on the previous resolution. So those are null and void at this point in time. We need to re-sign the new document with the changes that were made.
Okay.
What we will do is work steadfast over the coming days to get that around to everybody. And I commit to using my vote to run around, like, if Maureen wants to take a lead to get the San Juan signatures first, and I can pick it up from her and bring it to Orcas and maybe drop it off on Lopez. And like I said, if we take a few days to do this, to give people the opportunity to actually sign the document concluding our work, I don't think that's the end of the world. We'll be telling the county council in 45 minutes that they are receiving our 2022 ballot measures and 8 recommendations, and that we anticipate a resolution coming in the coming days as soon as that has been signed.
So my question is, for those of us whose vacation has us away from the islands during that running around period, then do we have the opportunity to go to the county council or, city hall, whatever, and sign the document? Or do we need to wait? I'll be back on the 6th, but I don't think Jane is back until, anyway, I don't know exactly her schedule, but I just wanted, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. If you're going to be away for an extended period of time, it might be good for you to do a digital signature.
Yeah, I'll be back on the 6th and I would like to sign the document. That just feels right to me.
Okay. So
is that too late?
No, we'll work that out. We will work that out.
Let's say that again, Maureen.
We will work that out. Let's
Yeah.
do that offline.
Perfect.
Yep. Okay.
And I don't mind, getting the Lopez ones over there when I return, if that's not too late. I'll be happy to take that on. So
Great.
Quick question, Kevin. Can we hope that the resolution will be passed around today? I mean, the corrected one?
Yeah, Olivia can send it around today to everybody so that everybody gets the final.
I'll get right on it.
Okay, now, is there any public comment? Any public comment? Tony, I saw your hand. I'll get back to you after we close public comment. I see one member of the public here. If you care to comment, please unmute yourself or turn on your video. Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. We'll go to Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make a comment about our process and our membership in this group. I really appreciate all the hard work that was been done. I respect my fellow commissioners immensely. I think some of the items I did not agree with, but many things I did agree with as a fellow commissioner. So I really appreciate all your work. And it's been enjoyable to work. Sometimes it was kind of tense, not because we all agreed, but because some of us disagreed. And if we all agreed, 17 of us are not necessary. So thank you for all the work. And Mr. Chair, thank you for leading this group of very tough-minded individuals that work hard and mean well. So thank you all for being a good group to work with. And we will see you whenever. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Any other final comments? Bob?
I echo what Tony has said, and in particular, Mr. Chairman, on behalf of everyone else, I want to thank you for your hard work trying to herd these cats. And on behalf of the rest of the group, I want to present you with this virtual plaque, okay, saying how much we love you.
Thank you, Bob. Any other comments? I thought I saw one other hand. Liz, was it your hand that went up?
yeah, thank you, Kevin. I wanted to just say it has been an education and an honor to work with you all. It has been really, really a great experience. And I have appreciated both positions, and that we have allowed space for all opinions to be put out there and to have thoughtful discussions about all of it. So thank you very much.
Wonderful. Any other comments?
Jane has her hand up.
Jane?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, this is fun. I get to do this for the last time. Yeah, I just wondered for the commissioners who did not vote in favor of the resolution just now, do they still sign it? I'm just curious.
Yeah, they can sign it and they can say that they voted in abstention or opposed.
Okay. Gotcha. Excellent. Okay. Thank you. And I just wanted to say it's been an honor working with all of you, and Mr. Chair and Ms. Vice Chair, thank you for your leadership, and just really appreciate getting to know all of you and be a part of this. Thank you.
Okay. Any other final comments?
I move we adjourn and let Kevin and Olivia get on a boat.
Okay. Wonderful. Motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We are adjourned. I want to thank you all again. Be well.
You too.